Welcome back everybody, it's Mark with exoticcarplayplace. Today we're going to preview the new G20 3 Series BMW that is just being released. It is the next great thing from BMW. Of course everybody's been anticipating it. With great cars from Jaguar, Alfa Romeo, they're all creating new performance sedans. BMW's F30, the previous generation up till today, and people have been wondering and asking questions, when is the next car available? Obviously, the 3 Series is lacking some of the features that you're starting to see in some of the 5 Series, 7 Series, and so on and so forth. So it was due time that BMW put together the next generation, which is the G20. Now, how good is the G20? Well, let's start with some of the basic specifications. For starters, BMW is actually starting out with 3 versions. There's the 330 gas, there's the 320D, and the 330D. So you've got 2 diesel versions and 1 gas version of these. So let's start up by talking about the 330i, which is going to be the hot version, of course. That car is the 330i, which is a 2.0 liter turbocharged, twin scroll turbocharged engine that produces 255 brake horsepower and about 400 Newton meters of torque. We'll talk about pound-feet later. And guess what? It's coupled to only, wait for it everybody, 8-speed automatic transmission. That's right. None of these cars today will be offered with a manual transmission in the larger engine setups, at least for North America. There's discussion the European cars will probably have manual transmissions available, but in the North American cars, right now, the way it stands is all cars will be equipped at this point with an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now wait, as well, you want the 40 version, the 40i, or you want the M version of this car, this next generation, you're gonna have to wait likely until 2020. That will then bring you the next version of this great new setup. Now tell me more about this new car. Well, firstly, let's talk about the overall car and the chassis. Do you realize the new 3 Series is based on the underpinnings of a 5 and 7 Series car? That made development and crash testing overall much easier to accomplish. The overall layout of the chassis is the same, but believe it or not, you buy a 3 Series, you expect that 3 Series compact driving experience. The interior of the new 3 Series isn't going to change in terms of overall size. Now, since we're talking about interior, the interior has a lot of great updates. Some of the updates include things like additional horizontal stitching. You're going to have a much more upscale version of the stitching on the leather. That's going to be improved. As well, there's going to be that great little theme lighting. You've got that strip of light that runs along the dash that you're starting to see in the 5 Series cars and beyond. Now, the 3 Series is incorporating that. It's a theme light, so you can alter colors. You want red or green or blue. Kind of a mood lighting in essence that wraps around the entire dash. They brought that to the 3 Series. Now as well, I've said in one of my videos previously how BMW and the 3 Series were a little bit behind in the F30 generation in terms of the overall dash layout. When you compare it to products from Audi, I know they've been doing that for a while, where they've actually had the entire digital cockpit that was configurable. They were able to interact between that and the iDrive system, toggle back and forth. Well, now, finally, you have the digital cockpit in this new 3 Series car. iDrive system in the new 3 Series has 2 options. There's an 8.8-inch iDrive screen, or the upgraded version of the 10.3-inch. So if you want the larger screen, you've got the 10.3, of course. It's fully configurable. It operates via touchscreen. And the actual cockpit is almost 12.5 inches in size. And finally, the 3 Series adopted what the 5 Series has started doing in the current generation of the 5 Series cars. Now you're wondering about some of the other versions. We talked about the gas. How about the diesel? So the 320D now comes with a 187 horsepower, 2-liter turbo diesel engine that produces 0 to 60 times of about 7.1 seconds. And it produces phenomenally outrageous fuel economy numbers of 67.3 miles per gallon on the 320D. How about the 330D? Well, that happens to be a 263 horsepower, 3.0 liter turbo diesel engine with 580 nanometers of torque, which will obviously produce much quicker acceleration times, a much livelier driving experience as well. Now, in the true BMW fashion, of course, they all come with the adaptive suspension setups. BMW is offering different suspension setups based on some of the packages that you may order. Some of them will give you a more compliant ride, and some of them will offer a more sporting experience. But BMW really went to the table to design a car that was not only strong in the performance department, like you would expect, a lot of the clientele you're finding from the Alfa Romeos, but BMW said, what kind of BMW driving experience would this be if we couldn't also turn it off and disable it and making a much more comfortable ride for those people that don't always want that car that's sitting on the hairy edge of chaos. So the car really does have optional ways of tuning in the driving suspension, driving dynamics to make it a much more usable car. Of course, there's other driver assistance programs with the new car, such as automatic braking, adaptive cruise control, and as well, steering and lane control, and collision and pedestrian warning systems, which is obviously a modern tech, but very, very important to have today in today's day and age. So what are my overall feelings about this new car? Well, the unfortunate part is, of course, without a manual transmission, we're going to have to reach back into previous generations, possibly in the used car market. If you really want to drive a 3 Series car with a manual gearbox, you're going to have to go to an F30 or some older generation, possibly an E90 generation of car, if you want that manual driving experience. But I'm very, very excited to wait to see what the new M cars are going to be released with and what type of gearboxes. Are they going to be available in a manual or a DCT or an automatic transmission? After all, let's not forget, the new M5 now, you can no longer get a DCT, you can no longer get a manual, strictly an 8-speed ZF automatic transmission. So that's possibly the way BMW is going, but we'll have to see it in 2020. So overall, I'm very, very excited and anticipating the full release. And if you guys definitely want to see that, make sure you subscribe to the channel, everybody, because I will be getting a drive in one of the very, very first cars that land here in North America. I will be doing a review on it and sharing with you my full driving experience in this car. I expect it to be nothing short of exciting, and every new BMW 3 Series car is certainly worth waiting for. So I'm excited for it. But wait for it, and make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. So here's an awesome montage of some BMW products that I've been driving recently. Enjoy, and make sure you give it a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Talk to you guys real soon. Check it out.
It's fast, eh?
That gearbox is nice.
Yeah.
Very, very quick. Bye-bye.